The power of silent authority. Have you noticed? The loudest voice in the room often hides the weakest mind. The ones who fight for attention rarely hold real power. True power belongs to those who command respect without saying a word. They choose their words wisely. They know when to speak and when to stay silent. Imagine a heated debate. Two people are going back and forth, voices rising, trying to win. Then, someone who's been silent the entire time finally speaks. And just like that, the energy shifts. Why? Because when you master silence, people listen when you talk. Stick around, because today I'll show you how to win any discussion, without chasing, without arguing, and without wasting your energy. Why winning arguments isn't about talking more. Most people believe that winning an argument means talking more, debating harder, or overwhelming the other person with logic. But here's the truth. The person who controls the conversation isn't the one who talks the most. It's the one who knows when to speak and when to stop. Look at history's most respected leaders. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste energy on pointless debates. He didn't argue just to prove a point. He focused on facts, kept his reasoning sharp, and above all, he remained composed. That's the real key to winning. Not by out-talking others, but by mastering the art of control. And that's exactly what you'll learn today. I'm about to break down 7 psychological strategies that will make you untouchable in any argument. But before we dive in, what do you think? Is silence more powerful than words? Drop a comment below, and if you're ready to sharpen your mind and dominate every discussion, hit that like button and let's get started. The power of detachment. Don't argue with emotions. The moment you let emotions control you in an argument, you've already lost. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone get overly emotional in a debate? Maybe their voice got louder, their frustration took over, and suddenly they looked desperate rather than strong. Now, compare that to someone who stays calm, unshaken, and in control. Who commands more respect? The person who controls their emotions always wins. Why detachment is your greatest weapon? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics believed that arguing with emotions is a sign of weakness. The moment you react, you give control to the other person. And trust me, most people in arguments aren't looking for truth. They're looking for a reaction. When you don't give them one, you take away their power. How to apply this in real life? Pause before you respond. When provoked, wait 3 seconds before replying. This makes you look more calculated and in control. Keep your tone steady. The more they escalate, the calmer you become. It forces them to check themselves. Use silence as a weapon. Instead of reacting, just hold eye contact and stay quiet. Watch how fast they start doubting themselves. People expect you to react. When you don't, they lose control, not you. You've mastered emotional control. But what if you could make your opponent dismantle their own argument? That's where the power of questioning comes in. Up next, I'll show you how to do exactly that, with just one simple strategy. 2. Ask, don't tell. The Socratic method. If you want to win an argument without resistance, stop trying to force people to agree with you. Most people approach debates by stating their opinions as facts, but here's the problem. When you tell someone they're wrong, they automatically resist. Even if you're 100% right, their ego kicks in, and they start defending their position. Not because it's logical, but because they don't want to lose. But what if, instead of arguing, you ask the right questions and let them prove themselves wrong? The power of the Socratic method. Socrates, one of the greatest thinkers in history, never won arguments by stating facts outright. Instead, he used strategic questioning to make people realize the flaws in their own logic. And the beauty of this method, it makes the other person feel like they reached the conclusion themselves. How to apply this in real life? Instead of saying, "You're wrong," ask, "What evidence do you have for that? How did you come to that conclusion? Have you considered an alternative perspective?" If someone makes a broad statement, challenge them gently. "What do you mean by that? Can you give me a real-world example?" By asking rather than telling, you avoid triggering defensiveness and instead make the other person do the thinking. Why this works? People don't like being told what to believe. But when you guide them with questions, they dismantle their own arguments without you having to say a word. Smart questions can expose weak arguments, but what if you could dictate the entire conversation before it even begins? That's where true control lies. Up next, I'll show you how to take control of any argument before it even begins. 3. Control the frame. Whoever sets the rules wins. Most people walk into arguments playing by someone else's rules, and that's why they lose. They get caught defending themselves, reacting to accusations, and answering loaded questions without realizing that the person who controls the frame controls the conversation. So instead of fighting within someone else's narrative, redefine it to your advantage. What is framing and why does it matter? Framing is the invisible battlefield where debates are won before they begin. It's how the conversation is shaped before it even begins. Think about a courtroom. A good lawyer never lets the opposing side set the terms of the argument. Instead, they frame the case in a way that benefits them. The same applies in everyday life. The moment you accept their frame, you've already lost. But if you control the frame, you force them to play yours. How to apply this in real life? Step 1. Recognize when someone is setting a frame against you. If someone asks, "Why are you always so difficult?" The hidden frame? That you're difficult by default. If they say, "Why do you think you're better than everyone else?" The frame assumes you believe that, whether it's true or not. Step 2. Flip the frame in your favor. Don't accept their terms. Reframe the discussion entirely. Example. Them. "Do you think you're smarter than me?" You. "Why do you equate confidence with arrogance?" Step 3. Control the narrative early. If you can define the terms of the discussion first, you dictate where the conversation goes. Example. In a negotiation, instead of reacting to their offer, set the tone by defining what's fair from the start. Why this works. When you control the frame, you remove the other person's ability to control you. They're forced to explain themselves rather than putting you on the defensive. And when you make others defend their position, you've already won. You've learned how to control the frame. But what happens when you don't speak at all? That's where true dominance begins. Up next, I'll show you how to use strategic silence to dominate any conversation. The power of strategic silence. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill every gap in a conversation, afraid that a pause will make them look weak or uncertain. But here's the truth. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use to dominate any discussion. It makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to think. And most importantly, it puts you in control. Why silence is more powerful than words. Have you ever noticed that when someone insults you, they expect an immediate reaction? They want to see you flinch, get defensive, or fire back with your own words. But when you don't react, it throws them off completely. Suddenly, they start questioning themselves. Did I go too far? Why aren't they responding? Did I just make a mistake? Silence forces them to hear their own words, louder than ever. How to apply this in real life? Use silence to disarm insults. If someone insults you, just look at them and say nothing. Let their words hang in the air while they fumble to justify themselves. Often they'll start backtracking without you even lifting a finger. Pause before you respond. When someone demands an explanation, don't rush to answer. Instead, wait a few seconds longer than they expect. That brief silence will make them feel the pressure, not you. Let others reveal themselves. The more you stay silent, the more the other person talks. And the more they talk, the more they expose their own weaknesses. Why this works? Most people associate silence with discomfort, but if you can embrace it, you flip the power dynamic completely. Because in any discussion, the one who speaks the least controls the most. Silence can shift the balance of power, but real mastery, knowing when to leave the game entirely. Up next, I'll show you why knowing when to exit is the ultimate power move. 5. Know when to walk away. The ultimate power move. Not every argument is worth your time. Some debates are productive, where both sides genuinely seek understanding. But most, they're just ego battles. People argue not to learn, but to win. And here's where real power comes in, knowing when to walk away. Why walking away is a power move. Most people think staying and fighting every battle makes them look strong. It doesn't. If someone is arguing just to win and not to understand, you're wasting energy. And wasting energy is weakness. Think about a game of chess. A skilled player doesn't react to every move their opponent makes. Instead, they choose their battles wisely, sacrificing certain pieces to control the bigger game. The same applies to arguments. Real power comes from knowing which discussions are worth engaging in and which ones aren't. When should you walk away? When the other person only cares about winning. If they ignore logic and just want to beat you in a debate, stop engaging. When the argument is going in circles, if you're repeating yourself and they refuse to acknowledge facts, exit the conversation. When it's causing unnecessary conflict. Not every disagreement needs to turn into a battle. If the outcome doesn't affect you, let it go. How to apply this in real life? Step 1. Recognize a pointless debate. If it's not leading anywhere, don't waste time proving your point. Step 2. End it with composure. Instead of getting frustrated, simply say, "This conversation isn't productive. Let's move on." Step 3. Walk away without looking back. No excuses, no second chances. Just walk. Why this works? When you refuse to engage in pointless battles, you show confidence and self-control. You send a clear message. My energy is valuable, and I don't waste it. Now, knowing when to walk away is powerful. But what if you need to stand your ground? Up next, I'll show you why keeping your arguments short and precise will always work in your favor. 6. Keep your arguments short and precise. The more you talk, the more mistakes you make. Most people think that a longer argument makes them sound smarter, but in reality, the more you say, the more opportunities you give others to twist your words. The strongest arguments: short, directer, unshakable. Why brevity wins? Every time think about the most respected figures in history: Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Napoleon. They didn't waste words. They spoke with precision, making each sentence count. A strong argument isn't about how much you say, it's about how effectively you say it. When you keep your words short and factual, 3 things happen. You sound more confident. Rambling makes you look uncertain. A clear, concise response makes you seem in control. You leave no room for misinterpretation. The more details you give, the more the other person can manipulate your words. You put the pressure back on them. Instead of defending yourself, make them prove their point. How to apply this in real life? Step 1. Keep your response under 10 words. Instead of explaining why you disagree, say, "I don't debate opinions. Show me the facts." Step 2. Don't explain unless necessary. If they demand more, just repeat your statement calmly. Step 3. Force them to do the work. Example, them. "I think you're wrong for so many reasons." You. Then prove it with facts, not opinions. Why this works. The more they talk, the more chances they have to contradict themselves. By keeping your words sharp and controlled, you make their argument unravel without wasting your breath. Now, precision is powerful, but there's one final ingredient that makes you truly untouchable: confidence. Up next, I'll show you why confidence isn't about what you say, but how you carry yourself. 7. Confidence is the greatest weapon. Confidence wins before words are even spoken. You can have the best argument, but if you look weak, no one will believe you. On the other hand, when you project confidence through your posture, tone, and eye contact, you instantly command respect. How to display unshakable confidence? Open body language. Stand or sit firmly. No fidgeting, no crossed arms. Strong eye contact. Looking away signals doubt. Holding eye contact shows control. Slow, steady voice. Speak calmly, with purpose. Rushing makes you sound unsure. How to apply this in real life? Stay still. The less you move, the more dominant you appear. Lower your voice. A steady, deep tone naturally draws attention. Use pauses. Silence makes your words carry more weight. Why this works? People don't follow the best logic. They follow the person who delivers it with certainty. Now that you've learned the 7 psychological strategies to dominate any discussion, let's bring it all together. Up next, the final mindset shift that will make you untouchable in every argument. You sound more confident. Rambling makes you look uncertain. A clear, concise response makes you seem in control. You leave no room for misinterpretation. The more details you give, the more the other person can manipulate your words. You put the pressure back on them. Instead of defending yourself, make them prove their point. How to apply this in real life? Step 1. Keep your response under 10 words. Instead of explaining why you disagree, say, "I don't debate opinions. Show me the facts." Step 2. Don't explain unless necessary. If they demand more, just repeat your statement calmly. Step 3. Force them to do the work. Example, them. "I think you're wrong for so many reasons." You. Then prove it, with facts, not opinions. Why this works? The more they talk, the more chances they have to contradict themselves. By keeping your words sharp and controlled, you make their argument unravel, without wasting your breath. Now, precision is powerful, but there's one final ingredient that makes you truly untouchable: confidence. Up next, I'll show you why confidence isn't about what you say, but how you carry yourself. Winning isn't about proving yourself. It's about having nothing to prove. Let's recap the 7 strategies that make you untouchable in any debate. Control your emotions. Stay calm. Don't react. Ask. Don't tell. Use questions to expose weak arguments. Control the frame. Define the discussion on your terms. Use silence strategically. Let others reveal their weaknesses. Know when to walk away. Don't waste energy on pointless debates. Keep your arguments short and precise. The fewer words, the stronger the message. Project confidence. Your body language and tone matter more than your words. Mastering control isn't about words, it's about presence. If you're ready to command respect in every situation, watch my next video now. If this video gave you power, show your support, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And tell me in the comments, which strategy are you going to use first? Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because winning isn't about chasing, it's about attracting.